Hi everyone, it's Tracy Malone from narcissistabusesupport.com. Today I have a topic that confuses most parents, estranged parents. Why does my child believe the lies that the narcissist is telling them? Because they know the truth. They were there. The Whiffles parents, just like, how could they believe these lies? They were there. We didn't yell at their wife or their husband, but yet they start to believe it. And I can tell you at first, I know that they have fought and said, no, I heard it differently. That's not what my mom said. That's not what my dad said, and they fight and they argue back, but they're not equipped to deal with someone with narcissistic personality disorder. They're not, understanding that someone could maliciously lie to turn your family against you so that they could have control. They don't believe them at first, but then eventually it feels like they believe them because they sound like them. They sound like a puppet. And you did this, and they're so indignant and they're so angry. But here's how it happens. Repetition creates belief, right? Gaslighting is repetition over and over. Plus, they use the guilt card in that repetition thing. And they are repeating things so many different ways, always with them being the victim, right? Whatever was said or not said, or gets lied about, they become the victim. Well, your dad was looking at me funny. He always does that when I'm there. Did you see your mom? She didn't, pull out my chair when I was there. I thought that was so mean, and she didn't care about me, or blah 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 blah. So there's that guilt that gets onto your child. And those are lies too, by the way. But they're sitting there telling them, just constantly the same talking point. When it's said over and over by someone that your child trusts, it begins to feel true. Even if it wasn't how they saw it in the past, they're being reshaped to see this is how they are in the current stage, right? Then there's this loyalty bond. This is where the narcissist like uses loyalty, and you must align with my version of reality, even if it conflicts what you know about your family. So that loyalty thing is often used, and again, the gaslighting comes in, and if you can't stand up for me to your parents when they are so mean to me, then I'm not sure I could stay with you. If I leave you, I'm going to take the children because your parents are too cruel to me and you're not standing up for me. Those are just some of the types of things you might have heard. And I bet you could add to that list too, right? But your child is being tested with each one of these things. And they learn, and again, they fight back in the beginning and they learn quickly that if I argue, I'm in the doghouse. If I say this is not what I saw and try to defend their parents, they get attacked. So they are being groomed to not let the truth lead them anymore. Now it's just believe the lies or lose your wife or husband. And that's a choice that young people are having to make. And it's absurd. And yet it's an epidemic. Um, and then, when your child holds two conflicting feelings, right? Two thoughts, two truths. I love my parents. I love my siblings. I love my family. But my partner says they're dangerous. They say that they are harmful. They say that they're cruel and they've never loved you. Like, that's what we have to remember. This kind of lying stuff, it doesn't just say what you did that day. but it turns into they really never loved you. They were trying to control you. Even when you go and buy them a house, well, you were just trying to control us. That's why you bought us a house. Can't we, you can't make that shit up, right? So I have a few more reasons why your child listens to this and becomes the puppet of it. It's the rewriting of the past through a completely new lens, right? Normal parenting moments are advice, concern, involvement, and it gets interpreted as control, or often if you've got another child, favoritism. They like your sister better. Your brother always gets all the attention. Have you always been the scapegoat? That's the kind of stuff, right? Rewriting slowly what was once normal is now being labeled as toxic, and they are confused. They're confused in the beginning, and they know the truth, and it's eating them inside because if they don't align with their partner, they're going to be unmarried or alone on the streets. And so there's that fear inside of them as well. Narcissists create fear in your child and then in your family, right? But over time, the narcissist starts to gain influence, right? That fighting back, that arguing and going, no, that's not how I saw it, starts to fade. They have been groomed and they know that there's nothing they can do that will ever get their partner to like you guys. It's just as simple as that. And that's when they give up. That's when they just decide, you know what? I'm not going to fight with my spouse. I chose this person. We had a wedding. We're going to have kids or we have kids. I have to align with my partner. My parents, they'll be fine. That's how they think about it, right? This isn't about your child suddenly forgetting who you are. It's about they've been influenced to believe these twisted stories. And trust me, it is frustrating for parents to hear these lies. You know the truth. You remember the past. You have photographic evidence in your closet of what their childhood was really like. And then this person who's just popped into their life has decided, no, none of that was real. They only took those pictures to show you that it looked normal. I've heard that one. You can't make that up. Anyway, I am Tracy Malone. I hope this helped a little bit answer that one question. Do not forget and please go get, and if you've already gotten it, leave a review for it so other parents can see it. Estranged by Lies is going to help you get through this with more control, more power, more emotional regulation. And if you're struggling and you can't afford coaching or getting into one of my groups, consider getting my new journal, Navigating the Silence of Estrangement. I wrote 60 pages of questions. I like the questions all at the beginning and then you get all the paper in the back because I hate it when I get a little box and I'm like, but I want to keep writing and I'm writing in the margins and stuff. I say, pick the question, go in and write where you are. And they range in the questioning to processing how you'll trust them to navigating the silence and the fear and the anger and the sadness and even a place to write a letter to them that you're never going to send, but you wish at night, God, if I could just say this, put it in the journal, get it out of your head, process it and release it. That's what that book is for. It's also on Amazon. All right, this is Trace Malone. I hope this helped, and I'll see you next time.